The city of Zagreb grew out of two medieval settlements, Gradec and Kaptol, which developed over the centuries on two neighboring hills and had a rich history of mutual conflict. The first written mention of Zagreb is dated to the year 1094, when the bishop's diocese was founded in Kaptol. In the year 1242, the Croato-Hungarian king Bela IV granted the Golden Bull to Gradec and proclaimed it a free royal town. Only in 1850 did Kaptol, Gradec, and the surrounding settlements unite into the city of Zagreb. The upper town is also called Gradec or Grič. Medieval Gradec was ringed by defensive walls and towers, and its form and street layout has remained largely the same to this day. Entry into Gradec was possible via 6 town gates, of which only the most famous remains, the Stone Gate. On the cart track through the rectangular tower, we find a chapel with a painting of the Virgin Mary of the Stone Gate, the patron saint of Zagreb. Many citizens and travelers come here to light a candle and pray for the realization of their wishes and prayers. St. Mark's Square, a former market and public forum, lies in the center of the upper town. This is today the seat of the Croatian government in the Ban's Court, with the Croatian parliament located on the other side of the square. The Church of St. Mark is the oldest parish church in Zagreb, and one of the most recognizable symbols of the city. The changing of the guard, carried out on St. Mark's Square by the historical unit, the Cravat Regiment, is especially impressive. On this very square, in front of St. Mark's Church, in 1573, the leader of the peasant revolt, Matija Gubec, was tortured and killed. On Cyrilometodska Street, which leads from St. Mark's Square towards Lotoščak Tower, we find the Zagreb City Assembly, where decisions regarding city management as well as wedding ceremonies are carried out. Don't be surprised when you see some wedding parties waiting here for their turn to get married on a Saturday afternoon. Lotoščak Tower is a part of the city's former defenses, at the top of which sits a cannon which fires every day to mark the noon hour. There are several theories of why the Grič cannon has fired every day at noon since 1877. But the official one is that it was a great way to mark the exact time for the church bell tollers. For a great number of tourists, this is one of the most fun attractions. Even though they know it's coming, the boom still makes them jump. On the ground floor, one can buy Zagreb souvenirs, of which we recommend the traditional Licitar hearts and the Šestine umbrellas. Throughout the city center you can find nice young ladies dressed in Šestine national costume, from whom one can also buy interesting souvenirs. On Strossmayer's promenade, both the young and elderly alike enjoy a nice stroll with the best view of Zagreb. Guests and tourists relax on the benches. One of the most famous lovers of this promenade was Antun Gustav Matoš, who often sought inspiration sitting on these benches and observing his beloved city. Another very interesting attraction is the Zagreb Funicular, the shortest cable railway in the world, only 66 meters long. It was officially set in motion in 1890 using steam power, which was converted to electric in 1934. It links the upper and lower towns, and you should definitely take the opportunity to take a ride and enjoy the view. The Zagreb diocese was founded in Kaptol in 1094, which is regarded as the founding year of Zagreb. Besides the diocese, there was a pre-existing settlement of craftsmen and merchants called Vlaška Ves. Zagreb's cathedral was built in 1217, but was almost completely destroyed by the Tatars in 1242. At the same location, a new chapel was built, and over time expanded and built upon, and eventually grew into one of the most beautiful and spectacular cathedrals in this part of Europe. The cathedral survived considerable damage in the Great Earthquake of 1880, which wrecked many of the buildings in Zagreb. Thorough renovations were made, which finished in 1906, and gave the cathedral its current look with two slim towers reaching 105 meters in height. Many historical figures are interred in the cathedral, such as Petar Zrinski, Fran Krsto Frankopan, Eugen Kvaternik, Alojzije Stepinac, Franjo Kuharić, and a number of others. Getting to know the Upper Town is most interesting through organized, themed tours, which have become very imaginative recently. One of these tours is sightseeing from the viewpoint of the Upper Town witches. Witches were women who were believed to have supernatural abilities and to have practiced sorcery and black magic.
Jela se vraćala iz Manduševca, nosila je vodu na večer nakon Zdrave Marije i srela je ovdje Baru i optužila je da je vještica. Znači, iz zapisa čitamo da je neku služavku Jelu susrela ispod kamenitih vrata i mamila v to vražje spravišće Coprničko, i to ovim riječima: hodi za mnom, hoćemo skupa poleteti, tamo ti bu lepše i bolje, hoćemo se namazati, dajući joj pritom nekakve vražje coprničke masti da se Jela namaže i poleti s njom. Zanimljiva je priča zato što je znači bilo dovoljno da Jela ovo samo izjavi na sudu i Bara je bila optužena da je coprnica. Mi ne znamo da li se to Jeli pričinilo, da li je možda nešto popila ili je samo bilo maglovito kad se vraćala iz Manduševca, ali ovo je bilo dovoljno da Bara bude optužena i da dođe na sud kao coprnica.
After a very interesting and informative tour, we come to the Museum of the City of Zagreb, where, aside from items from Zagreb's rich history, some items used in the questioning and torture of witches can be found. Allegedly, no witches were executed without having confessed. As we look at these apparati of torture, it's clear why. In recent times, Zagreb has been enriched by an interesting and unique museum, the Museum of Broken Relationships. Located on Cyrillo-Metodska Street in the Upper Town, the museum is dedicated to the memories of unsuccessful love and relationships. In the museum are items left by numerous ex-lovers, paired with short texts which describe the fate of the relationships and the provided items. Other than the majority of fun and informative stories, there are a few sad and truly tragic ones. We strongly recommend a visit. The Market Dolac in Zagreb opened in 1930 after the Harmica market moved from Banja Lucic Square to a new, more spacious location. In the open part of the market, fruit and vegetables from all parts of Croatia are sold, mostly from Zagreb's surroundings. Many locals start their day right off with a visit to the market to get ingredients for lunch. In the enclosed section of the market, one can find cheese and dairy products and meat of all shapes and varieties. An especially interesting part of the market is where one can buy homemade fresh cow cheese and sour cream from local ladies called kumice for the preparation of a favorite Zagreb meal, cheese and sour cream. Above the market we find Petar Kerempuh Square, where flowers are sold. Continuing on down Opatovina Street, we come to the park of the same name. Tkalčićeva Street is one of the most interesting and picturesque of Zagreb streets. There was once a stream here that divided Kaptol and Gradec, upon which numerous mills had been built. In the 18th and 19th centuries, there were many craftsmen, workshops, and small factories here. There even used to be a leather factory, for which the street was named, Leather Street. Due to the unbearable stench and outbreaks of disease and vermin at the end of the 19th century, the workshops were closed, and the creek was steered into the Ribnjak Valley and eventually the Sava River, building the sewer system. In 1913, the street received its current name in honor of the great historian Ivan Krstitelj Tkalčić. Tkalčićeva Street got a new look and some completely new services were opened. Along with small restaurants and cafes, Tkalčićeva offered the services of bath and public houses, so-called houses of ill repute, which in those times were completely legal. A monument was raised here honoring these ladies, showing them at the window waiting for their customers. Today, Tkalčićeva Street is the fun and lively center of the city, overflowing with excellent cafes and restaurants, and it is the favorite promenade for the locals. Ban Josip Jelačić Square is Zagreb's main square. The main city market, Harmica, was here until 1930. Today, various entertaining and cultural events are held here. On the eastern side of the square lies Manduševac Well, which legend credits as the origin of the name of Zagreb. Namely, the legend says that a pretty girl, Manda, met with a knight on a horse who asked her for water. He said to her, "Mando dušo, zagrabi vode." Manda, my dear, take some water. And from that proverb came the names for Zagreb and Manduševac. Today, Manduševac Well is beautifully maintained and one can toss a coin in for good luck. They say that most wishes come true. The streets of the lower town are always filled with people rushing about on business, or those worrylessly sipping their coffee in a cafe. The ritual of drinking coffee, no matter the time of day, is an obligatory Zagreb tradition. The Cest is the Best festival of street performers happens during the summer months, filling the streets and squares with interesting performers from all over the world. Make sure to plan your stay in Zagreb while this festival is underway, because it will be a crazy good time. Zrinjevac is the biggest and prettiest park in the city center and is always full of youths looking for fun or simply enjoying relaxation on the grass. The pavilion is often host to concerts and open exhibitions. Zrinjevac is part of the renowned Lenuci Horseshoe, a sequence of parks and squares in the city center marking the shape of a green horseshoe. King Tomislav Square leads us toward the limits of the lower town and the main train station, the largest and oldest railway station in the city. Here in the Trešnjevka neighborhood, we find the Dražen Petrović basketball arena, home to the club Cibona, two-time European champions. These two championships came thanks to the genius of the Mozart of basketball, Dražen Petrović, who was tragically killed in a traffic accident in Germany in 1993. So that we would never forget the basketball genius and great athlete who left his mark not only in Europe, but in the NBA League. His mother, Biserka, opened a museum and memorial center in which a number of items and photographs from the too short career of Dražen Petrović are displayed. For all sport lovers, especially basketball lovers, this place has become a must-visit spot in Zagreb. Directly across from Cibona Tower, we find one of Zagreb's most attractive and interesting museums, the Technical Museum. Here you can see various devices, means of transport, even planes. In Nikola Tesla's workshop, visitors get to know this genius of electricity and physics. The model of a mine, through which one can walk and experience the cramped passages and see the tools which were used in this industry, is of particular interest. In Zagreb, accommodation can be found in top-class 5-star hotels and also in a large number of ever more popular hostels. Hostel Chic is located in the very center of the old city core, contemporarily decorated, and offers excellent comfort and an authentic, homey atmosphere. The guests have 6 rooms and 27 beds altogether, with bathrooms, air conditioning, TVs, free Wi-Fi, and other amenities at their disposal. Double bedrooms with private bathrooms run €28 per person, while a bed in an 8-bedroom runs €17 during peak season. Zagreb is rich with great parks and lakes, of which we will highlight the largest 2, Jarun and Bundek. Bundek is located in New Zagreb on the Sava River. On the big lake, there is an outstanding walking path with sections for cyclists and rollerbladers one can meet here at any time of the day. Bundek is also home to some of the best and nicest parks and playgrounds for kids in Zagreb. During the whole year, one can find various performances and fairs which make this park a favorite among the locals. Bundek is where the traditional Festival of Fireworks is carried out. We had an opportunity to take a look around and personally inspect how intricate and complicated it is to prepare professional fireworks and synchronize them to music. As night falls and the fireworks start, the result is spectacular. Jarun is the largest lake in Zagreb and is set up as a sport recreation center. The walking path around the lake is 6 kilometers long and is fantastic for bicycling, jogging, and rollerblading. Set up along the walkway are a number of sport fields. We can say in the truest sense of the word that this is Zagreb's sportiest recreational park. Within Jarun there is a rowing club, as well as clubs for other sports. Competitions and races happen frequently on the raceway, and on the big lake, sailing and rowing are also popular. Becoming ever more popular is the sport of wakeboarding, which one can try out here on Jarun. On the plateau in front of the National and University Library stand fountains, which delight visitors with their interplay of lights. This spectacle looks magnificent in the twilight, and it is a real pleasure to sit on a bench and enjoy the show. The Maksimir Forest Park was planned in 1839 in the English landscape style. In this wonderful greenery, numerous citizens enjoy walking and recreation. There are 5 lakes in the park, abounding with interesting types of fish and also ducks, turtles, and swans. Out of the interesting attractions, we have to highlight the Swiss House, a sightseeing tower, the Eco Pavilion, and the Chapel of St. George. Inside the park, we also find Zagreb Zoo, with an area of 7 hectares. It is wonderfully arranged and inhabited by 2,225 individual animals, from 275 different species from all continents. In the exceptionally interesting tropical house, one can observe crocodiles and numerous reptiles. It is especially interesting to observe the venomous snakes which can be found in Croatia, such as the common European adders, vipers, and the Orsini's viper. Zagreb is located on the southern slopes of Medvednica, which has ever been like a caring mother to the folk of Zagreb. In the past, she offered food and water, coal and wood for the hearth, and today she offers the possibility of escape into nature for recreation and relaxation. Alongside the numerous paths for walking and cycling and excursion spots, the mountain is famous for its peak, known as Sljeme, upon which sits a 169-meter tall television tower, visible from afar. In one of the many mountain houses, one can rejuvenate oneself and enjoy traditional Zagreb culinary specialties such as turkey with mlinci and zagorski štrukli, and of course, cheese with sour cream. The Snow Queen skiing competition happens at the start of every year on Sljeme and attracts the elite of professional skiing, not to mention thousands of visitors. Here one can visit the remains of the old Zrinski mine, and the most popular sledding slope in Zagreb, the Civil Servants Meadow. There are also numerous old mills in the area. An excellent asphalt road leads all the way to the top. Make sure not to miss the view of Zagreb, nor of Zagorje, from the top of Medvednica. On the slopes of Medvednica sits the beautiful castle Medvedgrad, built in 1254. After the Tatars invaded and the cathedral was destroyed, Bishop Philip ordered the construction of fortifications on the slopes of Medvednica, in which the church's most valuable objects were stored. After the earthquake of 1590, Medvedgrad was abandoned. Only at the end of the last century was it renovated and given its current shape. In 1994, a monument to the victims of the Croatian War of Independence, the Altar of the Homeland, was placed here. Samobor lies only 20 kilometers outside of Zagreb, a favorite destination of the citizens of Zagreb. This little town used to be a center of craftsmen. Along with its walkways, parks, and nature, Samobor is famous for its kremšnite, made according to a secret recipe. Make sure to take the opportunity and have a stroll around Samobor and enjoy a slice of kremšnite and a delicious coffee. When someone says to you, electric car, what comes to mind first is this. Between Samobor and Zagreb, in Sveta Nedelja, lies an interesting electric car factory. No slow electric cars here, only authentic electric supercars are produced. The Rimac Concept 1 has 1,088 horsepower, a maximum speed of 305 kilometers per hour, and goes from 0 to 100 in only 2.8 seconds. It is powered by 4 electric motors, each managing one of the wheels. Complex software coordinates each wheel, distributes power, and enables the maximum potential of the car. The car can go 500 kilometers on a full battery. Price? Pocket change. Around $1 million. This factory produces only 2 cars per year for rich clients, but the plan is to expand and widen production. Nearly all of the parts of the car are produced with cutting-edge tools and technology. Aside from cars, they make other battery-based products, the newest of which is the electric bicycle Grape, which we had the opportunity to try out. We were immediately thrilled, and we think that soon this bike will be a real hit for riding around town and off-road exploring of trails and forests without polluting the environment. Zagreb is wonderful at all times of year, but the real magic starts during Advent. The entire center of the city is dressed up and decorated with thousands of multicolored lights. Tomislav Square is transformed into a huge open skating rink, enjoyed by all generations of locals and guests. A dizzying aroma of mulled wine and cinnamon spreads throughout Zrinjevac, and top-quality homemade sausages and various products are offered at the many stands. Christmas music follows one's every step and gives the feeling of living in a fairy tale. Banja Lucic Square is charmingly decorated, and Manduševac looks spectacular. Practically every step rings with bells and song. The smells of fritule, štrukli, homemade cakes, and other delicacies fill the air. On Tomičeva Street, the traditional fuliranje is held, where one can sample a plethora of homemade brandies and other beverages to warm up the atmosphere. If you want to enjoy a real Christmas fairy tale, don't miss the chance to visit Zagreb during Advent. Dazzling at any time of year, Zagreb will, with its charms, instantly win the hearts of its visitors. Outstandingly linked to many European and world metropolises, overflowing with events, untold stories and mystical secrets, a treat to countless tourists. and ideal for weekend visits by domestic guests from all over Croatia. It's no wonder that Zagreb has become such a hit among world travelers.